Oh, it's gonna be a minute?
Yeah. So the reason I'm asking,
I'm just wondering why y'all.
Go and get your ID.
In a small town called Locust Grove, nestled within Henry County, an incident unfolded on a warm June 4th in 2021 that would stir discussions and cast a spotlight on the actions of law enforcement officers. At the heart of the story was a black man, innocently going about his day, and a trio of officers from the Locust Grove Police Department. It began with 3 officers, keeping a vigilant watch from a distance, their eyes fixed on a YouTuber known as Hellcat Infamous. The officers claimed they observed him parked at a QuikTrip gas station for an extended period, making phone calls. Their suspicion arose not from the calls he was making, but from the area he had chosen to hang out in, an area they apparently didn't want him to be. As the officers' patience wore thin, Deputy Nicole Colleen Pitts took the lead, accompanied by her 2 colleagues. They approached Hellcat Infamous, their intentions clear. They sought to interrogate him about his presence at the gas station. But before we delve further into this incident, it's important to acknowledge Hellcat Infamous for sharing his side of the story on his YouTube channel.
what's going on, man? Are you hanging out? Are you meeting somebody? Are you waiting on somebody? Are you lost?
I live out here.
So the reason I'm asking, we've been here how long? Probably 20 minutes?
30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah, I was just
got
having-
any gas? You hadn't gone in and got any food? You parked at a gas pump, and I know the tank's not on the side. It's on the other side, right?
No, I'll never take this stuff back.
So what are you doing?
I'm just chilling. I don't want to go home today. I can't sit in the parking lot. Cause I
It
live out here.
depends. I mean, you can make it super difficult, but you do.
No, I'm just wondering why y'all. I've literally been on the phone just talking.
I know.
Go and get your ID.
The question here is, can officers approach you if they suspect that you're committing a crime? Well, since the landmark Supreme Court case Terry versus Ohio in 1968, officers of the United States have been given the power to Terry stop a civilian. According to the rulings of this case, under the Fourth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, a police officer may stop a suspect on the street and frisk him or her without probable cause to arrest if the police officer has a reasonable suspicion that the person has committed, is committing, or is about to commit a crime, and has a reasonable belief that the person may be armed and presently dangerous. The officers claim that this YouTuber was loitering at the gas station and that the area was well known for narcotics and other criminal activities.
Get your ID, and while you give us your ID, she can speak with you. But you need to identify yourself, so go and get your ID.
So right now, what it falls under is loitering. Yes.
Yes.
Because like if you were like getting gas, waiting on somebody, like if you were doing anything other than just kind of like hanging out, it wouldn't be an issue. We know.
This area is known for narcotic activity. It's known for criminal activity. So that's another reason why we're speaking to you. We want to make sure that's not afoot.
Right here, people will park. They'll go over there. They'll wait right here. They'll wait for somebody. They'll do shit like that.
And what? Under a
Bro,
street
you
light?
have no idea.
So
Well,
Yes.
I live out here.
I believe you do.
Watch it.
You know, you have your ID with you.
No.
Okay. What's your current address?
So we can say that the accusation of loitering and the suspicion of drug-related crime was the articulable reasonable suspicion for approaching this YouTuber and interrogating him. However, this case didn't fit the accusation of loitering and drug-related crimes. This YouTuber was just making phone calls. Why should making calls for as long as you want in a publicly accessible place be considered loitering and a drug crime? That doesn't make any sense. After checking his ID and finding no previous criminal records, the officers further interrogated him before leaving without any charges. This incident bordered on racial profiling because, everybody foreign.
The state's definition of loitering is doing something not like the norm. Hanging out at the gas pump, not like the norm. You know what I'm saying? So we have to just get out. Now, if you take off and run as soon as you see us over here,
Why would I do that?
well, so that's it. That would add to it, but you didn't. So it makes it look a lot better. You get what I'm saying?
But I literally come here all the time. I live here. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's
but you
fine.
can't just if you're not doing any business, if you're not getting gas, you're not
Well, I
going
was
to get food.
actually finna go in there. I just had a phone conversation.
Well, that's cool, but now that we've had this communication, it's what they call dispelling the alarm. Now that we're able to figure out, okay, this guy doesn't have any issues or anything like that, then we can be by our merry way. But we never met you a day in our life. I've never met you.
I've never gotten
She's
out
never
with
met you. He's never met you. So we're just doing our jobs, what we're getting paid to do.
Head on home, all right?
Yeah, but
Second
that's
thing,
that's
your
crazy.
it's
Like I've never.
Go look up loitering in Georgia
No,
code section.
my father's a retired sheriff.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
I know, but I've never.
like I said, this area is known for drug transactions. We're gonna make sure none of that's occurring here tonight. So
yeah, they just came from a party
With a
down
bunch
in
of-
their
with a bunch
neighborhood.
of-
A whole ton of drugs, and we're sitting
Right,
right
but
there
see,
with our blue lights on.
I do a lot of stuff. My dad is a retired chief deputy.
then you definitely
My
should.
parents-
Then you should definitely
but I've
understand our
never
job.
been-
Then
I've
you
never
should.
been stopped for that.
Then you should understand. If you say all these things, and if you're in the profession, you would understand why we're doing our job.
That's why I had no problem.
Right. And
But
we
that's
definitely
still kinda
appreciate
random.
the cooperation. No, it's not random. We sat there for a while. We observed you. We were watching. Okay, this guy's not getting gas. He's not going in there. We're watching everybody come and go. So it already drew our attention. Then we saw somebody that we dealt with earlier with a whole bunch of drugs around here coming up to you. I'm like, okay.
Right.
So
and they said, hey, I see your
Right.
car everywhere because I live out here. They said, we see your car, SRT on the side.
Hey,
I said, thank you.
Which makes sense. And that's the reason why we came over here to introduce ourselves, to dispel the alarm, make sure there's nothing nefarious going on. Now we're going to be about our way. Now, if we thought something nefarious was going on, then we'd be going a whole different direction. You understand? But we have to dispel alarm, make sure nothing nefarious is going on. You understand that?
I guess.
Have a good night, sir.
All right, have a good night.
Shortly after this incident, Deputy Pitts, who spearheaded this incident, was fired from the Locust Grove Police Department. As of the time of recording this video, the offense leading to the termination of her work was not known. A YouTuber by the name Callie Tito called the Locust Grove Police Department to confirm if Deputy Pitts was still a staff member. Derek Austin, who is the chief of police at Locust Grove, answered the call and confirmed that Deputy Pitts had been fired after she didn't meet the requirements of her probation. Unsurprisingly, that wasn't the first time she was fired.
Yes, gentlemen.
Officer, okay, so when we first came in here, right?
You can't tow my car.
Get
You're
your
not pulling me
driver's
over.
license
You're not
out.
pulling me over.
Get your
What is your badge number, sir?
Number 2. In a quiet parking lot outside a bustling department store, an unexpected encounter unfolded, leaving 2 shoppers bewildered and a police officer's authority questioned.
Yes, gentlemen.
Officer, okay, so when we first came in here, right? So he comes here all the time.
Sure.
I'm his cousin.
Okay.
So we came in here, he bought some things for his daughter. We bought a few pair of shoes. The girl at the counter knows him well. They had a nice conversation. But the whole time, this guy is standing in there staring at us, right?
Okay.
Officer describes how he sensed the other man's intense gaze and decided to head back inside to return the shopping carts.
Ain't nobody dumb, man. You gotta have some type of reason for running the plate. You're
He tells the backup officer.
So I go back in there. I take the little carts back in there. I'm like, bag, because you left a bag. So we grab the bag. When I come,
That's when things take an unexpected turn. Officer explains,
and this dude is just staring at us. Then he pulls his notebook out. Mind you, he was in the store the whole time until we came out.
Officer A shares his concerns with the backup officer, suspecting that the other man might be trying to run their license plate. The 2 shoppers are feeling harassed, though they acknowledge that they don't yet have enough evidence to call it that. As the backup officer clarifies,
We ain't worried about him running the plate. But
Yeah.
the point is,
officer nods.
We can run plates for any reason or
Okay,
no reason
okay,
at
we'll
all.
say- we'll
what
say
he
that-
does have to have is he have to have what's called reasonable suspicion in order to make a stop.
That's-
He has
and-
to have some sort of reasonable suspicion that a crime has been committed.
The backup officer confirms this, emphasizing the need for reasonable suspicion to justify a stop. Fast forward to the beginning of the video, and we witness Officer A's police car approaching the shoppers. He steps out and signals them to halt. As he approaches their vehicle, tension quickly escalates. "Why did you stop us?"
You haven't have a reason, sir. You didn't
Tell
pull me
you
over.
what,
But
either
you didn't
get
pull
the
me over.
license out or I'll hit for a backup.
The situation intensifies as the shoppers demand an explanation for the stop, highlighting the absence of a clear reason. Officer then requests identification, prompting a heated exchange.
how your supervisor?
What do you need my ID for, sir?
Well, because you want to run your mouth to me.
No, because you was looking at my license plate
That's
for what?
Exactly.
For what?
You don't have the right to run this.
I got
plate.
my rights
You
to
don't have
do
the right
anything
to run
I
this
want to
plate.
do. I'm a police officer.
You can't
That-
run
that
this plate.
doesn't
Your
mean
driver's
anything.
license out,
That
or
doesn't
I'll
mean
pull
anything.
you over and I'll tow your car.
Tensions rise further, and Officer A threatens to tow their car. The situation spirals out of control, and Officer A's behavior leads to his dismissal on the very same day. Looking back, it becomes apparent that the central issue revolves around reasonable suspicion, the legal foundation for stopping someone. The shoppers argued that there was no valid reason for the stop, no evidence of a crime, and therefore no reasonable suspicion. The backup officer arrives on the scene, engaging in a discussion with Officer A. He questions the validity of the stop and underscores the importance of reasonable suspicion. The backup officer listens to both sides and then approaches the shopper's vehicle to better understand the situation.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Just come here.
I've never seen it before. A Florida tag, it's never come back to anything before.
Number 3. In the heart of Orlando, a routine traffic stop turned into a perplexing encounter that would soon capture the attention of news outlets nationwide. The focal point of the incident was Aramis Ayala, a trailblazing figure as the first black state attorney elected in Florida. Little did she know that this seemingly ordinary stop would ignite a wave of controversy and spark a broader discussion about racial profiling and citizens' rights. As Ayala was on her way home from a day of teaching at Florida A&M Law School, her journey took an unexpected detour. 2 Orlando police officers pulled her over, setting the stage for an exchange that would leave her and many others baffled. The encounter, caught on video, began with a simple question.
What agency you with?
One of the officers inquired, scrutinizing her license. Responding with grace, Ayala stated,
I'm the state attorney.
The officer's swift response, "State attorney," seemingly signaled an abrupt end to the traffic stop. But the plot was only beginning to unfold. The officers had run her Florida license plate and claimed it hadn't yielded any results. This unusual explanation left Ayala puzzled, prompting the officers to clarify that they routinely run tags for various reasons, including checking for stolen vehicles. However, Ayala's perplexity grew. Why had her license plate been checked in the first place? The officer's vague response about routine checks did little to address her concerns. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, Ayala later tweeted, highlighting the intrusion into her privacy. But the interaction was far from over. The officer continued, noting the tinted windows of Ayala's car. Ayala knew her car complied with the law, but the officer's insistence was another layer of the puzzle. The situation was dripping with implications of racial profiling as Ayala's calm demeanor contrasted with the officer's attempts to find fault. The video of the encounter quickly went viral, sparking outrage among those who saw it as a clear instance of racial profiling. Ayala's stature and her history of clashing with figures like Senator Rick Scott added fuel to the fire. The incident was a microcosm of a broader issue, the intersection of law enforcement, racial bias, and the rights of citizens. Thanks for watching.